great day with Mrs. Swanson when I was gone, so I really appreciate that. She told me that in writing, you talked about a graphic organizer and you looked at an example of descriptive writing. And then you wrote descriptions of me. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We might have to take some time to share those at the end of our lesson today. Because I would love.
You already did.
Well, but I didn't get to hear them. I don't know if I'll be able to hear all of them, but I would love to hear most of them, okay? Or as many as I can, or some, maybe we can take some different time throughout the day to share them. What I want you to do right now is close your notebook so that Mrs. Johnson can see blue covers all around the room, just like Matthew did. Thank you, Matthew. Just so you know, the lesson that Mrs. Johnson is going to do today is kind of a review of what Mrs. Swanson did with you yesterday. Is it okay to hear the same thing more than once?
Yeah.
Yes, it's actually great for your memory. So, if you hear Mrs. Johnson say something that you already heard from Mrs. Swanson yesterday, are you going to yell?
No.
We already heard that. No. We're just going to continue to listen and it will make us a better writer. Okay? All right. I'm going to pull this up. And what do you need? This one?
Okay, so
I'll get it up too.
this song is kind of like a little brain break, even though we haven't even started yet. But that's okay, right? So push in your chairs and stand up. And it's kind of goofy, but it's fun at the same time. So we're gonna listen to this. And we're gonna follow along with the actions.
you help her push the source button?
Thank you.
And then you just have to make sure this is on. Oh, it is on. Good. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so who can tell me what they learned yesterday about descriptive writing? I want to hear a couple of things that you already learned. Okay, and Lorraine. You can use what? What do we try to describe? People. What else do we try to describe? Michaela? The thing that you're writing about. So that could be people, places, things, and then we're going to use appropriate descriptive language, right? And then what are the things that we can use to help describe? You just sing a song about it. Sandrika. The five senses. So our seeing, our hearing, our smelling, our tasting, and our touching. Right? Right. Okay. So I heard that yesterday you guys did your 5 cents, or you wrote descriptive writing about Miss Murphy, which is way cooler, I think, than what we're going to do. But nonetheless, we are going to. Oh, I need a pencil. We didn't go to.
It's okay, you can grab it.
Okay, thank you. Today we are going to describe. Oh, is that focus?
You can push, there's a focus button on the top of there somewhere.
Perfect. Okay, we are going to describe, by using the 5 senses, a cake that you have bought or made in the past. Okay, so we are going to think about what it could look like, what it could taste like, does it have a smell, what does it feel like, and does it make a sound? Okay, so let's describe this piece of cake, because this was my birthday cake last year that my dear husband tried to make. And as you can see, it's a little bit sloppy. Okay, so let's see, that's what we have. This is our image. We're going to focus on this. Wait, zoom. This one? Okay. Okay, there's the cake.
It looks lovely, but still good.
Right, okay, so we're looking at the picture. Think in your head of how it may look. What it looks like. And then raise your hand and we're going to write down those descriptive words. Okay, Anna.
I think it will look like kind of yummy.
It looks yummy. So, ooh.
But it looks disgusting in the picture, but I feel it's yummy.
Okay, so you say it actually looks disgusting?
And the picture.
Yes, okay, so we're right, looks oh gosh, I don't know how to spell that.
I feel like disgusting would be more of how it would, like, maybe taste. Like, what do you see when you look at it with your eyes?
Looks gross.
But I would still say that would be a taste.
It's sloppy.
That would describe
Yes.
more of, like, what it might look
Okay,
like.
so
Looks
looks
chocolatey, glossy.
Raise your hands now.
Look at it.
okay. And then let's call on, what's your name? Yeah,
Hannah.
Anna?
Hannah.
Hannah.
It looks like it has lots and lots of chocolate in it.
It looks like it is chocolate. It looks like it has lots of chocolate. So, is that a taste though? Chocolatey? Being chocolatey? It is more of a taste. Yes.
It looks like it wouldn't taste good.
So that, you said tastes good. It doesn't look like it would taste good. So it goes into taste too. Yes.
It doesn't. It sort of looks like peanut butter on big slices of bread.
It looks like peanut butter big splashes of bread?
Sort of does.
Okay. So it looks like peanut on bread. Okay. Okay, and what color is that, guys? Brown. So it looks brown, right?
I was gonna say it looks big.
And they said it looks big. Okay, let's raise our hands, please.
When you're thinking about size words, I think it's important to be a little bit more specific. Because when you say it looks big, does that mean it's like big like the size of an elephant? Or does that mean it's like big compared to something else? So it might be better to say that it's about the size of something. Or maybe it's the biggest cake you've ever seen. But you're not saying it's big like the size of a house or the size of an elephant. So I think it's important to be more specific with your language.
So it looks bigger than
Or you could say it's
a chart.
It's as big as one of those lively baskets.
That looks
I said it's about that yellow stool right there.
above the yellow stool. Well, let me show you. In real life, it was only this big. So it's definitely not as big.
So
as
maybe
real life.
about the size of like a basketball?
Maybe medium
As
size.
big
Basketballs are really
as
big.
a basketball. We're gonna go with that. Okay. Now think in your minds. Think in your minds what it would taste like. If you look at the picture, it was a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. So think about how that might taste. And let's use some descriptive words to describe how that will taste. Yes, Peyton.
That'll taste like gushy.
Gushy. Gushy. Yes. Chocolatey. Chocolatey. Guys, I have to admit I'm not a good speller.
You can spell. You need to call my mom.
Oh my gosh, it's just not one of my strong suits, but I know how to spell chocolate.
Sound it out. Like
C-H- O. Is it C-H-O-C-O-L-A-T-Y? Good job, Mrs. Johnson.
Oh, spell it on my arm. That's a good tool to use. Chocolate. Okay, we got it. Yes, Danica. It looks like it would taste good. So, taste good. Taste good. Yes, Angel. It looks like it would taste like peanut butter. Okay, yes. Mara.
A little disgusting.
Disgusting. Yes. Fudgy. Okay. Do you have a word?
It might look a little, taste a little. I forgot what it is.
Okay. Yes.
It looks like it tastes. Oh, it tastes. It looks like it would taste like kind of like something like coffee.
Do you think it would taste salty or sweet?
Would it taste sweet?
Ooh, sweet.
What did it actually taste like? Sweet.
It tastes like chocolate, and it was sweet. And it was delicious. Okay. Okay, now think about how it might smell. Okay, Michaela, how could it smell?
It could smell kind of really good.
Smells good. Okay, can we be more specific? Like what it could remind you of? Let's go with, I don't, yes, Olivia. Smells fresh like it came out of the oven. Okay, how else?
It smells chocolatey.
Smells chocolatey.
You can just spell it from there.
Mhm.
Just
Okay. And then, Angel, you're doing. Go ahead, Matthew.
It might smell like frosting, chocolate frosting.
Like frosting, so like sugar in the air. Not frosting, right? It does smell sugary. Yeah.
It smells like brownies.
It smells like brownies. Yeah. Okay, and then what does it feel like? You take a bite into it, what would that feel like? Yes. Squishy, okay. Feeling.
Weird.
It feels weird. Okay. Yes.
Delicious.
It feels delicious?
Oh. What?
Yes.
I would say it feels mushy. How would
Mushy?
you like it taste?
We'll put mushy with squishy.
Mushy, mushy.
Yes. Hannah?
Maybe carrots.
It feels hot? Yes. If it came out of the oven, it might still be hot. Yes.
Feel like gushy.
Squishy, mushy, gushy.
They're all rhymes.
I think they all mean the same too.
It doesn't hurt.
Okay, yes.
It might feel hard.
It might feel hard. It could be squishy or it could be hard. Yeah. Yes.
Cold.
It could feel cold.
Good ice cream.
Yep, if it's cooled down, then it could be cold. Yes.
It might like feel like kind of like you
So you may feel like you want to eat it. Okay, that's describing how we might feel, but we need to describe how the cake would feel. So I think the cake can feel like it wants to be eaten.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what about how the frosting feels? Is the frosting smooth? Okay, raise your hand. Yes. Lorraine. If you get frosting on your hands, what does it feel? Tastes good. That's in taste. Yes. Sticky. Okay. And then how might it sound? This is a little harder, I think. Mada.
It just came out of it. I would like it might like be steaming.
Steaming. And steaming has a. Does that have a sound or does that have a sight?
Kind of sound, kind of both.
So it makes like a hissing sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess if you had to listen really closely. Okay. Yes.
It would like. It would sound like squashy when you bite into it.
So like, what was the word? Squashy?
Yeah.
It's like when you're chewing it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's really a word, but okay. How else would you describe that? Smush, like
Mushy.
when you're chewing cake? Smacking.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I really don't like when people do that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
say
Let's
stop
do it.
smacking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, let's not smack our cake around Miss Murphy.
yeah, no smacking your
Okay,
lips.
how else would it might sound?
We did it at the end.
On Annie's birthday.
What?
I smashed the cupcake in my face on Annie's
She did, I'm not kidding.
too tiny.
Oh
There's
my.
something about saying right there, smashing
I
cake.
squashed whipped cream.
Okay, let's focus our attention back up here, please.
Focus on Mrs. Johnson.
Okay, we are thinking about ways it could possibly sound, which just was a very hard category for me, so it probably is going to be for you too. Okay, Let's go with Angel. How might it sound?
Kind of like slippery.
Might it sound slippery? It's a feeling. Yes.
Like if you push the cake down, maybe when it like rises back up, maybe it would kind of come out.
Like air is escaping. Put escaping air. Okay. All right. So perfect. I want you guys. Here is the organizer that I made, and after talking with Miss Murphy, some of them probably, like how I said, like mine says it looks sloppy. It has brown frosting, and it has 2 layers. And it would taste delicious, chocolatey, sweet, and it will taste way better than it looks. And then I said it smells like hot chocolate, and it smells like a bakery. And then I said it feels like squishy, moist, smooth, warm, and sticky. A sponge. And then for sound, I kind of probably stretched it here, because I think your sounds were better than my sounds. But I said the timer beeping, like when it goes off, that's describing the timer, that's not describing the cake, so that's wrong. And then I said people singing, and that's wrong. Because, I mean, that doesn't describe the cake, does it? No. And then knife hitting the table while cutting through the cake, that describes the knife, so that's wrong. So I didn't have any good sounds, so you guys did much better than I did on sounds.
We had
Okay, let's listen then. And then guys, how do we take this information that we just came up with, how do we turn that into our story? Like what do we need at the beginning, and what should we need at the end, and where does this go? Okay, so what do we need at the beginning? Yes. Yes. So we would like to describe what it is we're writing about, right? So if I was describing what I was writing about, I described it like this. I said, last year, when I turned 25, I had the most surprising birthday cake ever. It wasn't from the store like my other cakes have been since I've been married. It was homemade. So I described in my opening sentence what it is I'm going to talk about, right? We're going to talk about my birthday cake. Okay? And then we have the middle part. And that's where we put the middle part. What goes there?
detail.
Detail. Raise your hand, please. I heard detail, I heard content, and I heard everything else. But what then goes at the bottom? Did we practice these? What goes at the bottom, guys? Raise your hand. What goes down there? Is that our beginning? What is it? You're gonna cry. I hope we're a wish. It's our ending. So we want to conclude our descriptive writing. Okay, so I'm going to read to you. I took all of the facts, or not all of them, I pulled a lot of these from my graphic organizer, and I put it into my story. And I just want you guys to hear what that might sound like. And then, when you guys write yours, you can kind of see how you can pull these into a paper, into your writing. Okay, so this is what it says. When I walked into my house after school, it smelled like I walked into a bakery. The air was filled with scents of drinking hot chocolate on a cold day. I was surprised to come home to this because I am the only one who uses the oven in my house, and I had been gone all day. When I reached the kitchen, the timer was beeping. I looked around and saw a cake. The timer meant the cake was done cooling. I watched my husband as the 2-layer cake was being frosted with brown frosting. It didn't look yummy at all. He tried his best, but it was really sloppy. I dipped my finger into the container and got to taste the sweet and sticky chocolate frosting. Once he had put the candles on it and lit them, people around me started to energetically sing Happy Birthday song. After the song was over, I blew out my candles. I became excited when I heard the knife hit the bottom of the plate while the cake was being cut. I received my piece of cake and took a bite. To my surprise, the sloppy cake was actually spongy, smooth, and moist. It was a sweet treat. Even though my birthday cake looked sloppy, my husband did a good job, and it was delicious. It tasted way better than it looked. I hope next year it tastes just as good, and his decorating skills get better. So that is my story about my birthday cake from last year. Okay? And if we went through here with like a highlighter, we could go through and we could find all of the descriptive words that we used.
I already found 5.
You already found 5? Yeah.
Oh, I
So
found
let's go
5
through this.
too.
When I walked into my house, it smelled like I walked into a bakery. There's one. The air was filled with the scent of drinking hot chocolate on a cold day. Okay. Now what do we see in this next sentence? Raise your hand if you find what you see in the next sentence. Is there anything that describes the cake in that sentence?
No.
I was surprised to come home to this because I am the only one who uses the oven in my house, and I had been gone all day. No. Okay, what about the next one? When I reached the kitchen, the timer was beeping. Well, we're not really describing the cake in light. I'm describing the kitchen. Okay. I looked around and saw a cake. The timer meant the cake was done cooling. Okay. So what does this mean in here? Okay, what do you find in there as a descriptive word? Yes.
The cake is done.
It's done cooling. So we can, if you read the cake is done cooling, does that mean the cake is hot or does it mean it's cold?
Cold.
It's cold.
So it's not hot anymore, but it's cool enough to put frosting on, right? So we're going to circle underline cooling because that means that our cake is hot, it means it's cool. I watched my husband as the 2-layer cake is being frosted with brown frosting.
Brown frost.
Raise your hand. What do you see in that descriptive word? Yes. Brown frosting. Okay. What else? There's one more. Yes, Olivia. 2 layers. Okay.
Another one.
What is it?
Sloppy.
But we're not there yet. It didn't look yummy at all. He tried his best, but it was really sloppy.
Sloppy.
Yes.
Sloppy.
Yes. Good job. Sloppy. I dipped my finger into a container and got to taste the sweet and sticky chocolate frosting. Your name's Lauren, right? Mary, go ahead. Smooth. Let's see here. I don't see smooth. I dipped my finger into a container and got to taste the sweet and sticky chocolate frosting. Oh, we're only going sentence by sentence. So when we get there, remind me again. Yes. Sweet and sticky. Okay, sweet and sticky chocolate frosting. Okay. Once he put the candles on it and lit them, the people around me started energetically singing the happy birthday song. Does that describe the cake? No. After the song was over, I blew out the candles. Does that describe the cake? Nope. I became excited when I heard the knife hit the bottom of the plate while the cake was being cut. Does that describe it? No. It says cake, but is it describing the cake or is it describing the knife? Cutting it. I received my piece and took a bite. Not yet. To my surprise, the sloppy cake was actually spongy, smooth, and moist. Yes. Smooth. Okay, what else is there? Angel? No? Sandrika? Spongy. Go ahead. Taste. Moist. What does moist mean?
Like smooth. Wait, no.
Moist kind of means like wet. Like it's not dry, it's wet. Okay. And Lorraine? Sloppy. Yes. To my surprise, the sloppy cake was actually spongy, smooth, and moist. Okay. It was a sweet treat. Yes. We're on the next sentence. It was a sweet treat. Grant, do you see the describing word in here? It says it was a sweet treat. What is the describing word?
It describes the cake.
And what is it?
It was a sweet treat.
So sweet treat. Good job. Okay, now let's see. Even though my birthday cake looked sloppy, my husband did a good job and it was delicious.
Yes.
Olivia. Sloppy. What else? Yes. Mhm. Delicious. Awesome. It tasted way better than it looked. I hope next year it tastes just as good and that his decorating skills get better. Does that describe the cake?
Oh, yeah.
It describes my hope for the next cake, right?
Yeah, that's a hope.
That's a great job, guys. I feel like your substitute teacher yesterday did a great job helping you guys with this and getting started on it. You weren't? Well, then you did awesome too. No, does husband describe the cake? No, it doesn't.
Unless your husband is a cake.
Yes, unless
Are you married to a
unless I
cake?
married a cake. And in that case, I'm not really sure how I have a daughter. I have daughter cupcakes. Okay, so let's go. I want to go over what we need to use when we use descriptive words. So who can tell me what are the 5 something that we use? Yes. The 5 senses. And can somebody tell me one of the 5 senses? Just one of them. Yes, Peyton.
Taste.
Taste. And yes,
Smell.
taste. Smell. Yep.
Here.
Yes.
Here.
Hear. Yes.
See.
See. And then there's one more. Let's all do it. Good job. Okay, how much time do they have left for their writing?
Well, we actually might move on
Okay.
unless you want them to write.
Well,
Do you want them to write for a
I
little
feel
bit?
like since you guys had them practice yesterday with writing your descriptive words for Miss Murphy, and I think it's really important that you guys would share your stories with her instead. Also, since you've already done that, I have confidence that you will be able to now have extra practice and do it again tomorrow when you write, right?
Well, yeah, we've
Or, I
only
mean-
had school for 3 days this week, so we've had to cover all of our reading curriculum in a matter of 3 days. So we might have to move on and start into reading so that we can get everything accomplished
That
and
is fine.
get to our test this afternoon.
That is fine.
Do you need more time?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we'll see later.
I will find time for you to share your work from yesterday, but right now is not going to be the time, okay? Because we have to take a spelling test, and we have a lot to cover to continue through the reading curriculum so that we're ready for our assessment this afternoon. I just kind of have a few things that I want to talk to you about since I wasn't here yesterday. Let's kind of go through our schedule. I just kind of went through it a little bit with you, but I'm going to go through it with you and show you on our agenda what it's going to look like. This morning, we've already done Writer's Workshop, and we need to do our spelling test, and then we're just kind of going to catch up and review some of what we've talked about in the reading curriculum